Hey guys, welcome to R&L Homestead. At the Farm Where You Live Festival, I had the opportunity to sit down with Joel Salatin and ask him a few questions. I'll show you that right now. If you knew everything you know now about farming and you could go back to when you were my age, what would you do differently?
Yeah, okay, what I do differently. I might not have gone to college. And I had a great college experience, but the thing you have to understand is that when I was your age, I was selling at the local curb market, which was it was an old Depression era market, like a precursor of today's farmers markets. But because it was a Depression era started market, there was a memorandum of understanding between the Extension Service and the Food Inspection Service that allowed us to sell uninspected stuff. So I could sell beef that we slaughtered in the pasture. I could sell chicken pot pie. I could sell buttermilk, yogurt, cottage cheese, from hand-milked dairy cows, no inspection whatsoever. And so I grew up in that environment, and by the time I got there in about 1970, 71, there were only, back in the 30s and 40s, it was a huge market in town. I mean, it was like 50 vendors, pies and cakes and all sorts of things. And by the time I got there were only two elderly women left, like grandmas for me. And but they took me under wing. One did baked goods, and she was kind of a homestead. She did cured ham and vegetables and baked goods as well. And but I mean they showed me how to merchandise, how to talk to customers, how to deal with problem customers, how to message, it could not have been a better, more immersive direct marketing mentorship experience. So anyway, so I did that all through high school, then I went to college, and nobody in the family wanted to do that. So we closed down the market stand, and within a year, both of those ladies quit. I think I probably, I was young, energetic, and I probably added some life to their thing. So I've always thought, what if that hadn't stopped in the market, and I'd been able to be grandfathered in, and it had that continuity. I've always wondered what would have happened if it had gone on. But I think very often we spend a lot of money and time on college, but those 4 years being an entrepreneur or traveling and having some other experiences, some apprenticeship or going some other country or whatever to have another experience. Time doesn't stand still just because you don't go to college. You can do a lot of other really cool things. And so, so that would probably be, and I had a great college experience. I'm not dissing that at all. And did I learn some things? Yeah, I did. But life is trade-offs. You give a little here, you take a little here, and that looking back, that might be one that I would second guess at this point.
Let me know down in the comments below what you think about going to college. I'm thinking about doing something like being a steward at Polyface, or maybe even taking the Jeff Lawton online permaculture design course. Pretty sure it's in the Folks This Ain't Normal book. You talk about where you have to have how you can get around the USDA processing. How do you?
So with poultry, there's a Public Law 90-492, called the Producer Grower Exemption that allows you to do 20,000 head of poultry a year without inspection. And so, yeah, I mean that. When I came back to I'm in high school, and I'm thinking, how do I go back to the farm full time? How do I make a living here? we'd always milked a couple Guernsey cows by hand, and you know, of course, we sold the butter and cottage cheese and stuff down at the curb market. And so that was my first thing. I did did a budget and did a business plan. I said, man, I could hand milk 10 cows and sell the milk at regular supermarket store prices, not jacked up because it's organic or grass fed, and just regular retail milk. And I could make a living milking 10 cows. Now that's a lot of pulling, but plenty of people have hand milked 10 cows, throughout history. And there was only one problem. It was illegal to sell milk. And I've never gotten over the fact that the government kept me out of full-time farming for a period of years, just from the regulatory structure. But with the PL 9492 for chickens, we can do chickens, and so that gave us an ability to jump into chickens, and we were able to do them and get started. My book, Everything I Want to Do Is Illegal, of course, explains a lot of these stories, a lot of these run-ins we had with the bureaucracy, and still do. I mean, we still have, from time to time issues, and there are some things that we don't do just because we're not willing to fight the system. I mean, you can't fight every battle that can be fought. If you do, all you're doing is fighting all the time. So we pick our battles, but the PL 9492 has been a wonderful exemption. Beyond that, when they told us we couldn't sell our custom beef anymore, we started selling it live for $1 an animal, $1 a beef, and then we added shipping and handling as a service charge on the other end, and based on weight. And so that was a circumvention way to get around the sale regulation. And you can sell chickens live and charge a caretaker's fee, for example. There's a lot of ways to skin this cat.
Yeah. When I guess now with how y'all have a whole lot of acreage and stuff with y'all's ponds, how many ponds would you need for, say, 20 acres?
Well, it all depends on how big the pond is.
Yeah.
Ponds vary in size. And so, if you think about, okay, for 20 acres, like for irrigation.
Yeah.
Okay, so think about how much water would it take to really to be a good, insurance policy, right, for a drought. And in our area, if you can get 6 inches during a drought, that pretty much is an insulation, all right? So if we use that figure, 6 inches per acre, so an acre inch, so 1 inch of water over an acre is 30,000 gallons. So 6 inches is 180,000 gallons. So if you take 180,000 gallons, multiply it by 20 acres, that would take 3.6 million. I think I did that right. Got the decimal point in the right place. 3.6 million gallons. Okay. Well, a cubic foot holds 7.4 gallons of water, and so you can kind of measure your pond and get a rough idea of the cubic measure, the gallons, and you got your water. I am a believer in it's better to, instead of making a huge lake, it's better to have, for example, let's say you do need 3.6 million. I would much rather see 1.2 million gallon ponds than 3.6, just because you spread your risk. You got smaller ponds, smaller dams. It's just it's better to have 2 or 3 than it is to have one huge one.
I asked Joel about pond building because we need to add a couple ponds to our property, so it can help if there was a drought. We have extra water sources so we can irrigate our pastures. And it'll also help with our winter stockpiling. One more question. What would you say the most useful farm tool is?
Most useful farm tool? Wow. So if I can add one, I will say I'm going to have two. One's going to be a piece of farm equipment. It's the most important piece of farm equipment, and that would probably be a front end loader. Okay. Farm tool would be a chainsaw. And even more specifically, the coolest tool that I bought in the last 5 years is a little electric chainsaw, which I can carry in my little 1987 Ford Bronco around, throw it in the back, and if I see something I want to whack, I can whack it. A mattock is a close second, but if you've got a big old multiflora rose or a big old thorny bush or something, you might not get in under there, with a mattock. And so the chainsaw, it's a little steel electric chainsaw with I think it's a 10-inch bar, 12-inch bar. Fantastic little tool. You don't have, you can carry it with you. You don't have any noise to start it up, and you can cut something if you want. It's just a wonderful tool.
I will have to agree with Joel. One of our favorite tools on the farm is that little electric chainsaw. You may have seen us use it every now and then. It is super easy to use, really lightweight, and it is super quiet. Well, it's a pleasure being with you, Joel.
Thank you, Ty. It's been a delight. Yeah. Take care.
Come back Thursday because we added a new animal on our farm this weekend. So go down in the comments below and see if you can't guess what we got over the weekend. But I'm going to wrap this video up here for y'all. Make sure you like, subscribe, hit that little bell button, share this video with your friends and family. Y'all have a good one, and God bless.